Hey everyone, Batel Skater here. Welcome back to my channel. And if you are new to this channel, please do hit that subscribe button and the bell notifications button so you can literally watch every single new upload I post, which is regarding to mental health, self-love, spiritual awakening, getting rid of the toxic thoughts in your head about who you are and starting to live your most best amazing life and finally live it in happy and peace. So today I'm going to talk about the very special covert narcissist. Now, the reason that they are called covert narcissists is because they cover up their narcissism extremely very well. Now, as you all know, there's all types of narcissists on the spectrum. As you know, overt narcissists are the ones that are overt. They just come out with it. You know, you can literally see it, whether it's physical abuse or verbal abuse, emotional abuse. You know, they just do it right on the open. But a covert narcissist is extremely special. I like to call them the two-faced professional narcissist. If you are a person who's been traumatized in early childhood or in your life in general, and you feel all types of lack towards yourself, you will find narcissists somewhat very dominant and assertive. But when I really tell you what's happening over here, you will see it for what it is and you will actually feel bad for them and walk out of the situation and start healing yourself. So, a covert narcissist is your typical charming individual who has this glorious smile, who makes really, really great eye contact with you, who has these incredible stories about themselves, quite literally, who just on and on and on really talk about themselves all the time. And now they come off as really charming, because if you are someone who has life experiences but doesn't really flaunt it out there, you might see them as someone who's really secure within themselves, somebody who's really confident, somebody who's really exciting and really interesting, right? But the covert narcissist will lure you in, quite literally, because they will see like, oh wow, this person's listening to me, this person's actually really interested in me, so let me hook them into my good side. I like to call it love bombing or admiration bombing. So they will, in the beginning, really be there for you and treat you to certain things or take you to certain places or, you know, give you praise and show you that they really have your back. But that doesn't really last very long. This isn't a relationship, but let's talk a little bit about a family dynamic. So a covert narcissist in a family dynamic is usually the family member who is extremely amazing with everybody else outside of your life. If you're a child, if you're even a cousin. So if you have a cousin or mother or father or sister who pretends to be so awesome with the rest of the world, but behind closed doors, they always put you down. That's the covert narcissist. They basically show to the external people in the world like, hey, I'm freaking amazing. And I'm very love-worthy. And I'm very just incredible. Like I'm such an awesome individual that nobody can see the wrong in me. Nobody can ever think that I can hurt or manipulate or triangulate or put you down. So behind closed doors, the narcissist will find subtle ways to put you down, and it's really painful. They will either tell you that straight up that you're not worthy of them, or they will tell you that someone else did better than you in some way. This is the thing with covert narcissists. On the outside, if you're hanging out with them in public, they always seem so charming and so amazing and so, you know, it almost seems like everybody wants to be around them. But then behind closed doors, they will literally argue with you over any little thing. They will make these horrible faces at you to manipulate you and scare you. Basically like, you know, don't do this. Like they will scare you into not behaving a certain way because then they will be disappointed in you. They will find ways to put you down so much that you wouldn't even know what to believe. Because again, on the outside, they seem so charming and so nice and so friendly and so giving. But then behind closed doors, they just treat you terribly. And I wouldn't really say physical abuse. I would really say emotional abuse. Whether it's judging you or analyzing every little thing you do or even ignoring you. They have a way of, you're sitting next to them, you're in their presence, but they won't make eye contact with you. They will be on their phone and just completely ignore you the whole time. They will basically do anything and everything to show you that you're really not special and that you're really not important to them. Another way covert narcissists behave is by completely ghosting you, not calling you at all, not responding to your text, responding with one-worded answers, an answer that doesn't even make sense, that you're constantly going to find yourself rereading over and over and over again because you're thinking, what does what I said have anything to do with that? The covert narcissist always also has a way of basically blame shifting everything that they did onto you. So for example, they will do something and then 5 minutes or even a day or a week goes by and you say to them, well, you did this the other day, or don't you remember what you said to me? And they will say something like, I don't recall that. I never said that. They always do things and you remember them because they actually literally did that to you. Like, this happened to you, And then they go out of their way to say that never happened. I don't recall that happening. Or you're crazy. And when you have feelings for that person or you're in a family dynamic with this person, it really hurts because you're always second guessing everything you're doing and you're wondering to yourself why this person doesn't have the capability of acknowledging your feelings or validating them. But it's because they can't even validate their own feelings, and that's why they do what they do. And again, I do want to make more sense out of why the covert narcissists act this way and why it hurts you so much. You got to understand this. When you have lack within yourself, you would let people treat you like that instead of seeing how miserable and broken they are for even allowing themselves to treat other people that way. Because if somebody can go out in the street and be this charismatic, incredible, awesome person to everyone else, but then treat you miserably behind closed doors, what does that really say about them? It means that they will go out of their way to get praise from everyone because they need it. They live off of it. And actually, they're also getting a sort of sense of praise from you by putting you down. Seeing you miserable shows them dominance. Seeing you miserable makes them feel good about themselves. And I know it doesn't make sense, but it's the truth. Because they don't have any joy and real happiness and real love to share with you. What they do have is a lot of insecurity, vulnerability, a huge fragile ego. So everything you do is a problem. And they want to make sure that you see that you're the problem instead of them being the problem. Instead of seeing wow, I'm really not treating this person well. If for some reason I don't like them or I'm annoyed by them, then I shouldn't hang out with them. But instead, they kind of keep you there and breadcrumb you and give you the least. And again, that's not just in relationships. That's also your mother and your father and your brother and your sister. In a family dynamic, the covert narcissist is usually the family member who, let's say you have a ginormous gathering, a family dinner, and they will go out of their way to be that person, to make the toast, to say the story, to make everyone else laugh. When the rest of the family leave and it's just you, let's say the daughter or the child of any kind, or even the wife. Let's say everyone leaves and it's just you, them together. Then they will start devaluing you like, didn't I tell you to bring this to the kitchen? Or why did you wash the dishes like that? It's still dirty. Or clean this up. Come on, clean it. It's like the horrible, subtle ways. It's not really subtle, but it's subtle in a sense that it's covert, it's hidden. It's hidden amongst everyone else. And again, you're wondering, well, why is this covert narcissist only treating me this way and treating everyone else so lovely? Well, the thing is, darling, is that they're actually not treating everybody lovely. They're just receiving praise off of people who don't know their personality really. They have this charm that people are delusionalized by and actually believe is real. They don't know what's happening behind closed doors. What's happening behind closed doors is the narcissist needs to feed off of people's fear. So they have you, the codependent, to sit there and take their abuse. If you had any love for yourself and self-respect and you honored yourself, you will not even let this person speak to you that way. You will not even be in a relationship with this person. You will not even allow your parent to speak to you that way. You will just see them for what they are, which is a miserable person who just literally enjoys putting you down. They enjoy putting you down. Okay? And it's not because they realize what they're doing. Some do, but most of them don't. It's just because they're so used to seeing that fear in your eyes or that panic in your face or those facial expressions, or they're so used to treating you like a horse who will do everything for them. So it's like a cycle. It's like a pattern. It's a programming, really. Oh, I'm just going to tell this person and I'm going to put them down and they're going to do exactly as I say, and they're not even going to question it. They're just going to go ahead and do it. The covert narcissist is not really abusive physically, okay? Some of them are, but most of them are just emotionally abusive, okay? I also want to talk a little bit about the sexual covert narcissist in a physical relationship. You know, a lot of times, I'm sure you guys are probably going through it and you don't even know what's going on. When you're in a relationship, a physical relationship with a covert narcissist, they would literally put the charm towards everybody else. Like, it would literally look like they are flirting with or even had sexual experiences with every other person that you meet with them. So if, like, you're going to a coffee shop, or if you're going to a party, or if you're meeting some friends, the way that they will talk to other men and women, depending on who you're in a relationship with, it would literally almost look like they already had a sexual experience with them. And you're wondering to yourself, like, wow, did this person, you know, did they sleep together? Did they have were they like an ex? Is that an ex of yours or something like that? It's the way that they come off that really makes it seem like they have been sexual with everyone. And believe me when I tell you, covert narcissists don't only deal with one relationship. They feed off the praise because they can't give it to themselves. They can't really validate their own feelings and emotions and inner traumas of not being validated. So they're gonna have to go out there and get it from external people all the time. All the time. So don't be surprised if you had, let's say, sex with a covert narcissist and they just don't want to cuddle with you afterwards. Don't be surprised if you just had sex with a covert narcissist and they just don't respond to your text. Don't be surprised if the covert narcissist asked you to come over and hang out, and then you do come over and hang out, and then it's like really awkward and really strange, and it's just completely silent, and you guys are not doing anything, and they're just like sitting next to you with this really mean face, and you're wondering if, you know, you did something or you said something wrong. No, it's them being extremely insecure and not knowing how to deal with their own issues. So they project their issues onto other people, especially codependents. And the codependence kind of just sits there and takes that emotional abuse. And it's very, very, very emotionally abusive because you would literally feel it in your whole body and it really hurts. I didn't really give as much about the covert narcissist as I could have, but it's because it's really hard to describe the covert narcissist because their abuse is extremely subtle. And if you don't have any self-love, you would literally be so broken by the type of abuse that they share with you. It could be also that, like I said, the love bombing, but they treated you so well in the beginning, you know, the first few weeks, and then now it's like complete misery every time you see them, and they only treat you like that, and it's just so miserable. And that's only because, they basically manipulated you into believing that this fake charm that they possess is what they are. But what they really are is this miserable, insecure person behind closed doors. And you're wondering to yourself, well, what are the types of people that can, that make narcissistic relationships last? Well, any narcissist really always looks for the target who will never argue with them or seek for true love or real intimacy or genuine, equal give and take of, validation and, self-respect. They basically look for someone who can always be their punching bag, and they can always tell them what to do, and they can always just, treat them the way they want. They will never really be able to give real love unless they take a step back and heal themselves and find out why they treat themselves that way and other people that way, and really understand where all this trauma and horrible way of behaving to themselves and other people is taking place. I do want to say again that covert narcissists are really subtle abusers. It's very on an emotional level. So if you find yourself being in a covert narcissistic abusive relationship, again, whether it's a mom who just validates everyone else and smiles with everyone else and hangs out and yeah, totally, but then treats you, the child, completely miserably and devalues you and puts you down and calls you names and just kind of bosses you around and makes faces at you, that's the emotional covert narcissist. They have two faces. That's why I say they are professional two faces, because they really have that fake charm going on, and then behind closed doors they're really evil. And the reason I say evil is because when their faces switch, it is really evil, because you just don't understand how they can treat other people so nice but you. But again, it's a false, fake persona. They only keep that persona up to receive praise from everyone else, and it makes them feel really good in those moments. But it's not who they are. Because if it was who they are, if it was who they are, they will also treat you with that kindness and that love and respect that they supposedly give other people. But again, they only do it with other people who are also delusionalized by what's a true self and what's a false self. And they just give them that smiles back and the praises back. And oh my God, you're so fun to hang out with and you're so this, but they really don't know what's going behind closed doors. So I want to say to you that hopefully now you understand what this type of abuse you're going through, because a lot of times you may sit there and think to yourself, wow, what is going on over here? It's very confusing with a covert narcissist, because you really just don't know what's going on. You don't even know how they're going to act in the next 5 minutes. You're just hoping for the best. And that's miserable. That's a really horrible way to live. But let me tell you something. The only way you will see the truth of what's really going on is to see that how they're treating you is completely wrong, and you need to accept it. Don't sit there and be delusionalized by how they treated you in the past and how they treat others in front of your eyes. They do it on purpose. It is abuse. They want to show you that you're not worthy of what they give other people. But it's not that at all. It's because you're codependent. And you have to heal yourself and love yourself and honor yourself first. And you won't even need their validation and their praise, because you will give it to yourself. And you will find other people who are very genuine and can also be that way with you all the time, and not switch from one face to another just to get more praise from other people. Getting praise and validation consistently from external people and treating somebody miserably behind closed doors is not a healthy person. And I really need you to understand that. And that's the only way that you will actually heal. Because it's not really this person's job to validate you and give you your needs and make you feel seen. You need to know and be seen for yourself first. And the way to do that is to see that the only way the covert narcissist feels seen is when they receive praise from the entire world. But to be seen is to be seen within yourself first, because nobody's opinions matters but your own. So if you're constantly putting yourself down, you're going to be reflecting that in every relationship you're going to enter. If you start healing yourself and you start honoring and validating and loving yourself, that will also be a reflection from other people. Some people won't give it to you because they don't know how to give it to themselves. So don't think because you're not getting the validation from the narcissist, it's because, hey, I must be broken. No. You may need some healing to do, but you're not broken. You're just allowing someone to treat you miserably. Don't allow anybody to treat you miserably. Once you wake up from the reality of any narcissist or the covert narcissist, you will see how miserable they truly are and how they just can't live without people's praise. And that's a really sad way to live. And if you have to put people down, that's an excruciatingly sad way to live. Pretty pathetic and depressing at that. So you don't need their validation. They need to validate themselves first. And if they did validate themselves, they will treat you with kindness, because they are genuinely kind as well. So I hope that you guys learned something from this Covert Narcissistic series tonight. Thank you so much for listening and learning. Don't forget to like this video if this video helped you. And I'll see you guys on the next mental health series. I'll see you guys soon. Take care of yourself first.